In this video, we are going to look at dilutions. So what does it mean for something to be diluted? Well, as you can see in this picture, we've got some frozen concentrate orange juice, and we're dumping in a bunch of water to dilute something. So simply put, dilution is the process of reducing the concentration of a solution, usually done by adding more solvent, which means we are increasing the volume. So what we've got going on here is we sort of have a before and an after situation. We've got our original solution before dilution, and then we have our solution after the dilution. So all I want to do right now is investigate what happens to these variables as this dilution actually occurs. So when it comes to picking numbers here, you don't even need to. I mean, you can pick any number you want for concentration, moles, and volume. Of course, you could calculate that, right, using our C equals N over V formula. But let's just think about this in theory. So what's actually going on as we create this dilution here? Well, let's talk about our concentration. The point of the dilution is to decrease the concentration. And we do that by adding water. So what's happening to our volume? Our volume is increasing. So you think about it, what has happened to the moles during this whole process? Well, guess what? The moles has actually stayed the same. So whatever moles we started with before the dilution is the same after the dilution. So what that means is that we have a constant, and we can actually create a formula here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So let's take our solution before the dilution here, and I'm going to use little ones to represent that. So we've got a 1 concentration, and we've got a volume, first volume. And of course, I put that into our C equals N over V formula, our molarity. Now, our dilution after, so our solution after the dilution, I'm going to use little 2's to represent our concentration and volume. Because again, anything with a 2 or a 1 is going to be changing. Now, the n's are going to stay the same. So what that's going to allow us to do is rearrange our formulas. So in essence, what I'm doing over here is I'm putting this over 1, and we're going to cross multiply. N times 1 is, of course, n. And then we'll cross multiply to get C times C1 times V1. So all that stuff is right there. So in essence, N equals C times V. So when we go to rearrange our other equation, it's going to rearrange exactly the same. And so N is equal to C2 times V2. Now again, we have to remember that N is the exact same in both of these situations. So if N is the same, then C1 times V1 must equal C2 times V2. And that's because the N's are equal to each other. The n's are equal to each other. The two things I'm circling are equal to each other as well. If you didn't get that, it doesn't really matter. You just need to know this is our formula for a dilution, and we're going to use it. So we'll be given 3 of the 4 unknowns, and we'll go ahead and solve. So here is a question I'd like you to write down. What volume of 0.25 molar HCl can be created by diluting, there's the key word, 10 mils of 12 molar stock solution. Now we're going to assign the variables to the numbers in this question, and all we need to do is look for 2 that are together. So again, this is 10 mils of 12 molar stock solution. So hopefully we realize that this is, of course, a volume because it's in milliliters, and this is a concentration. And because they're together, we're going to call it 1 and 1. So you can write down your variables like this, and you can fill in the 12 and the 10. And then the other number we've got here is a concentration. So that's going to be our C, and that's going to be our after, so our C2. We'll put that there. And of course, this question is asking us to find the volume. So we're going to be finding the V2, the volume. Now there's a couple of ways to do this mathematically, and frankly, I don't care which way you use. So what I would do is I would write down my formula. I would plug my numbers into the formula. And then I would realize that if I want to get V2 all by itself here, what I need to be doing is I need to be dividing both sides by 0.25. So in essence, our 0.25s are canceling out on this side, and our equation is becoming 12 times 10 divided by 0.25. Now, when you do that, you should get 480, and then I guess the question is, what would the units be? Well, the units in this question are going to be milliliters. Well, why are they in milliliters? Because our V1 was actually measured in milliliters, right? We had 10 mils. So that means the units here are going to be the same as the units there. So if you get a question where perhaps I give maybe the first volume in liters and then the second volume in milliliters, you're going to have to convert. So you just need to be consistent. So whether they're both working in liters or both working in milliliters, again, you just need to be consistent. Now, there's even a second way you can solve this. Again, I don't really care how you solve it. So again, you can write the formula, and you can rearrange the formula right off the bat. Of course, we're solving for V2, so that means we're dividing both sides by C2. And then once you get your formula created, which would be right here, it's just going to be a matter of plugging the numbers in, and you still get the same answer. So there you go. Dilutions are straightforward. It's a nice little equation. C1 times V1 equals C2 times V2. And it's not too difficult to use. Again, the only trick might be liters and milliliters, so just convert. I don't care which one you use. Just convert so you are being consistent.